Well, hello, good evening, and welcome, Father Rob Ursino, Annunciation of the Lord Parish. So we're just beginning, it's the Wednesday night chat, so I thought I'd come on and see if anything new happened this week. It's been kind of interesting, hasn't it? We finally got our second lockdown, so that's what's kind of come official. It's come out from the government. And this one seems a little different in that since the stay-at-home order has been issued. But what's a little different, I find, is it seems like some of the details have been left to more local authorities, and so before it was kind of straightforward. We came out and there was an edict that came from the bishop that the churches were locked and we were closed down, and we kind of went from there. Well, this time it doesn't seem to be that way. We did get a directive from the diocese. And it was a little surprising, to be honest with you. I thought we were going to another lockdown. It would just we'd be closed. And we would continue to stream masses and then start to prepare for kind of what it might look like when we came out on the other side. Like we would eventually, this would come to an end and we'd look into, February, March, kind of crazy to think about that. But how are we going to do Easter? That would almost be the next big event. But what they actually said in the document that they sent us was that that there's still going to be a limit of 10 people at masses, and that they encourage us to still hear confessions and still have times of prayer and to stream as we have been. We have to look at our staff and figure out who can be in the building and who is not absolutely necessary to have them here, and kind of make that up almost like we have to determine that ourselves. So it's a bit challenging because I was sort of thinking, I was reflecting on this just a little while ago, like, really coming out of Christmas and see, up until Boxing Day, we could still have people here. I know it was a little frustrating sometimes that how we did it, or that people had other ideas about that, but we could still have you in the building, right? We could still have people here. And if you were willing to kind of go through the protocols and to do a little volunteering, especially, you could come to Mass several times a week, and we try to make ourselves available. But now we're in a different situation, and how are we going to handle that? And I almost think there's four different approaches. Now this is going to be a little bit out there, okay? But this is my little head when I go for long walks on Mondays. But I think churches have approached this in different ways, and as I've been honest with you before, that there's not like there's an envelope that you open that says in case of pandemic, right? Everybody has to kind of figure this all out. So one of those is sort of this sort of free range, where I think there's some churches that you can go to. There's not a lot of sign-ins. I think they sort of keep track or not, and people go to pray. And I think there's some of the large downtown. I'm not sure if the cathedral operates that way or St. Pat's, but they're hearing confessions. I know at St. Pat's. I'm not sure if they're actually even having public masses now. But that's a place you can go and pray. Okay, that's good. It's a good model. Other places are doing what they're kind of just getting really disciplined, trying to maximize. If we can have 10 people in the building, we'll operate 2 masses a day, and maybe 4 or 5 on the weekend, and just try to rotate through as many people as possible. And it's just you're only doing it. It sounds crazy. I said this in a homily the other day. It's like you're trying to water your front lawn with a coffee cup. Like you can throw a cup of water, go back in another one. It's kind of crazy. Now, if you're part of that small group, and that's the only time you get to go to Mass in a month, I'm sure it's quite meaningful. But from a production side, it's hard. You're trying to do this, and it's just such small numbers. But that's another way. I know some places have been doing outdoor things, which was kind of surprising. Like I know it was over the summer, it made sense, but I thought what would happen in the winter? But they managed to keep that going, and that's actually impressive. And it's something I think we're looking at. We kind of played around with a little bit with that on the weekend. We did called a beta test, like a very, very small test. And we had a few cars in the parking lot, and they were able to pick up our Wi-Fi, and then we streamed Mass to them, and then we gave them communion. Could we even do this? And we could. And then I thought we could test it a little bit more and see where that went. So that's the 3. So those are 3. So sort of free range, kind of just open, and people come and go. Numbers of masses, just try to maximize the number of people, which means minimizing the liturgy in some ways, because readers and musicians, they just take away from the numbers. So you only have 10 people. You really need to be as plain as you can be to get everybody in. And then doing something outdoors, even in winter, however that could be done. the fourth is streaming. It's kind of what we're doing right now. Like and that's kind of the approach that we took was trying to be more present online. We were just very blessed to have people who were very gifted in both the technology and in the sense of how media works, and some really good advice early on and how to become more proactive in what we do and how we do it, and yeah, just communication. So it was really good. So what do we do? The diocese is saying, we want you to keep saying Mass. We want you to keep having some people in the building. We want you to continue to hear confessions. We want you to stream, as we have been. So it's probably going to look a little bit like we're going to continue to say Mass, obviously, and that's we always have. I don't think there's ever been a day in the whole thing that Mass wasn't celebrated in the building for the people of God in our parishes. And we can continue to stream that's what I thought we were going to do. I don't know how much more. Like, we're going to have to figure this out. I really thought a further clarification would come out and say, okay, when we said 10, we meant, or because it doesn't seem to jive with what the government's saying, where you can have 4 people or 5 people outside and nobody inside. You really shouldn't have anybody, and we're all supposed to stay home. Absolutely necessary. So we'll have to see. So I'm sure in the next few days this will kind of clarify itself. And I had unfortunately, it was one of those Wednesdays are my kind of every other Wednesday is kind of bad. I have kind of meetings all day long, so I couldn't really call, and I thought really they would be letting us know. So I kind of let it go for a day. I'll try to get a hold of somebody tomorrow and just to get some clarification on what exactly we can and can't do. Because really, here we are, 8 o'clock, right? 3 or 4 hours. This is it. We're in this. So again, we'll celebrate Mass. We'll stream it. If we can indeed have people in the building, then I think we already started this week with Adoration on Tuesdays, where we had, yes, less people, but more time. So only 10 people, but we spread it over 3 hours, and we're going to probably extend that maybe possibly even to 4. So kind of Tuesday would be Adoration Day. So Mass in the morning and Adoration. Thursday, we've been hearing confessions in the hall really for the last 2 months. We've been doing kind of drive-by confessions out front really all summer. We started that, I think, in probably in May or June, probably June or July, maybe June. And so when it got cold, we just brought it indoors. And then people have been availing themselves. It's not huge numbers, but it's been working. But again, part of the feedback, maybe it's at night. And so maybe we'll have during the day on Thursday a time for confession, maybe an hour or so around, I think around 3 or 4 o'clock, like, maybe, just after the Divine Mercy. So that would be kind of a good time, because then it doesn't tie us up. So late afternoon, when it's still light, and then in the evening. So Tuesday would be kind of adoration time. Thursday might be kind of confessions. And on Wednesday, what we would do is potentially an extra Mass in the evening. Now, again, remember, I don't even know if anybody can come. If we can have only 3 or 4, or we can only have 9, we'll have to get this clarified. That would be the kind of the regular work week, and then we get into, of course, we know Mass with Father Dennis on Monday, and would have the Friday Mass and Saturday morning, and then do 2 Masses on the weekend. Again, working through as many people as we can, and then trying to explore what does it mean to have people outside. Like are we able to still have people in cars kind of attending, outside, almost like I think they call it a parking lot Mass or something like that, which I don't, the concept isn't, I mean, it achieves something of a goal, and it allows people to come together. So I haven't done it as much yet, but we're looking at possibilities around that, because I think going forward, that's the one that's going to have the most effect for the most people if we can find a way to do it. Like, I can almost imagine Easter. We're kind of half, we had a liturgy meeting last night. Could Easter Vigil be outside in the parking lot? I mean, what would that look like? I don't know. I don't know. But I think that I could, if this thing's going to go on for a couple of months, we could be realistically looking at that. I was talking with Father Galen Banks earlier today, and it was a kind of a short conversation, but they've already been locked down for 2 months, and there's still lots of stuff. It's this, you can do drive-in Mass. I guess that would be for those who have cars. Yes, if it's a drive-in mass, unfortunately, there are some limitations with those. Yeah, you be outside. Now, again, first of all, can we even do this? Don't know. Secondly, there's some stuff we need to put in place, like an FM radio broadcaster that would be able to, if you don't have Wi-Fi, because we don't know how many people can actually ride on our Wi-Fi before it kind of crashes. So we broadcast FM, but we don't have that equipment yet. We have to put that in, we have to install it, and we have to make it work. And then it's almost, for me, would be looking more like what might look, Christmas, into Easter, into maybe the summertime, when the weather gets better and we could start to have, people sitting by their cars on lawn chairs and that kind of thing. I think that makes more sense. And moving an altar possibly closer where you can see it and doing a double stream. There's all kinds of possibilities with that. And originally we were going to do that, actually. There was way back in the beginning, before we even opened up the first time in May, we were looking at, could we do something with net, some of the musicians, and having a parking lot mass almost as a celebration to start everything off again. But we're asked not to do that. I think it was just sort of discouraged. Let's just get through this first weekend, and then, that came from another source. So there it is. So yeah, a little perplexed. I really thought I'd have more to share with you tonight, as far as clear direction where we can go, because it's a little confusing to me. I have to be honest with you. I really thought it was going to be either leave me open, and I thought we had a system that was workable even in the pandemic. But I understand it doesn't. What we did or what anybody did. This was coming, and it had more to do with what is happening in bigger things than the Annunciation of the Lord Parish. Right? There's bigger tides and currents and forces involved in this. But I thought it would be kind of either leave us open or lock us down. Again, kind of like Christmas, this is a bit of a curveball to me, because we'll leave you open but really restrict you, if that's even possible. And I'm not even sure if that's open. I don't know. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of homework and try to find that out for you. But that's all I know. I know it sounds crazy, eh? You think we would know, but I'm reading the document. I've shared it with a number of our leadership and with the liturgy team and with the finance people tonight, and just to get their opinions, because am I missing something? But we do find it a little bit confusing, so we'll have to get it clarified. So there it is. I wish it was clearer or simpler, but right now I'm a little bit perplexed like everyone else. I know we're in this for a while, and this is going to take a bit more than I think any of us imagined. But let's hang on to remember those things that we talked about. Finding hope in this, finding some reason to continue through another week. Let's try to be creative. Let's try to be even think it through, and do the best we can with what we have. And I believe that I know it's Canada and it's wintertime. But we're going to get through this. There's going to be a time after this. And it's really almost even now trying to set ourselves up for success in that new reality. So we shall see. Some clarifications coming out tonight. So Lindsay, that would be wonderful. No, Lindsay, maybe you can even respond even real time here. Are the clarifications coming from the diocese, or are they coming from the government? Because it's still, as you say, we're 4 hours away from this lockdown. And still haven't really heard what I can do even tomorrow morning. But I think we're going to run it with mass, as we've got a few musicians coming in and maybe a reader. And we'll keep it small tomorrow and just kind of build from there. But that's where it's at. So I really don't know. Government, well, that's good. And maybe there'll be something in that. We'll give more clarification. And it may well be the diocese has already been speaking with these people, and we just haven't quite jived the whole thing up yet. So that would be great. So I'm glad to hear that. So anyway, I'm just going to say a prayer with you. I tell you, again, it's one of those, I try to come on with a little more energy, because these Wednesdays are long days for me, but I still want to keep this thing going, because I just think it's important to reach out with as much as I have, even if I don't have much, just try to be as transparent with you as I can. So may the good Lord watch over, guide, and protect us. May it continue to guide all of you and keep you safe. May the Blessed Mother wrap you in the mantle of her peace. May Almighty God bless you and keep you, and those whom you love. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. I invite you please to continue to pray for those in nursing homes. They continue to seem to be the ones that are hit the hardest by this. And I've been hearing that locally it's not been great. So let's continue to pray, and let's continue to hope that and believe that this is going to pass. and it's going to go. So Lindsay, I'm going to finish with you. For what it's worth, I enjoy these videos every Wednesday. Well, God bless you, Lindsay. I appreciate that. And I really do try. I really do try. It's just that some weeks this is all I got left in the jar. So at least I'm glad I was able to share it with you, and it makes a little bit of sense for you. So take care. God bless you, and good night.